All right, let's dive into something that, let's be honest, we all think about: happiness. But what if I told you that the very thing you're using to find it, your own brain, might actually be the biggest obstacle in your way? Yeah, let's get into it.
You know the feeling, right? You get that promotion, you have an amazing vacation, you fall in love, and it's incredible for a little while. But then it just kind of fades, doesn't it? And you're right back where you started, chasing that next good feeling. Why is that? Why does genuine contentment feel so slippery?
And boom, there it is. This one sentence, this single idea changes absolutely everything. We operate under the assumption that our brain is on team happy. But nope, its one and only job is to be on team survival. And that fundamental misunderstanding, well, it's the source of so much of our modern day anxiety and frustration. To really wrap your head around this, you have to imagine that your brain is running on some seriously old software. I'm talking an ancient operating system perfected over millions of years with just one single, ruthless priority: keep you and your ancestors from becoming tiger food. So this is what we're calling survival wiring. At its absolute core, your brain is programmed to do three things, and three things only. 1. Scan the horizon for danger. 2. Find stuff to keep the machine going, like food and a mate. And 3. Pass on your genes. Take a close look. Notice what's missing from that list? Yeah, being happy just for the sake of it didn't make the cut. And this right here, this is the conflict at the center of our lives. We want what's on the right side of the screen, right? Contentment, joy, a sense of peace. But the hardware we're using to get there, our brain, is built for the stuff on the left: safety, making more humans, and saving every last bit of energy. It's a huge mismatch between what we deeply desire and what we are biologically designed to do. Okay, so you might be thinking, but what about all those happy chemicals we hear about? Dopamine, serotonin, surely those are for happiness, right? Well, not exactly. Their real job is a lot more primal. They aren't messengers of happiness, they're messengers of survival. Let's start with the famous one, dopamine. We call it the pleasure chemical, but that's a bit of a myth. Dopamine isn't about the pleasure of getting the reward. It's about the motivation to seek it. It's the chemical of wanting, of craving. It's what pushed our ancestors to hunt for one more hour, promising a big payoff just over the next hill. It creates that itch, that drive, which is a killer tool for survival. And what about serotonin? We think of it as the chill, happy-go-lucky chemical. But from a survival point of view, its main job is all about social status. It's the juice that gives you that feeling of pride and confidence when you feel respected by your tribe. And why does that matter? Because back in the day, being respected meant better access to food and mates, which is, you guessed it, absolutely critical for survival. So here's the bottom line. The good feelings these chemicals give you, they are temporary by design. They are short-term bribes from Mother Nature to get you to do things that help the species continue. They were never, ever meant to be a permanent state of being. And this brings us right to the heart of the problem for all of us living today. We're walking around with this ancient, survival-obsessed brain in a world that it just wasn't built for. And this creates a massive, constant conflict, what we call the great mismatch. I want you to really think about this for a second. Your brain's threat detection system, your amygdala, is always on. And it's not very sophisticated. It literally cannot tell the difference between a predator hiding in the bushes and a stressful email from your boss. That jolt of anxiety, that shot of cortisol, it's pretty much the same response. A push notification can trigger the exact same alarm system as a snapping twig in a dark forest. Just look at your daily life, the constant ping of email alerts, that little dopamine hit you're chasing from a social media like that mimics the ancient need for social approval, the nonstop 24/7 cycle of bad news, the intense craving for sugary, high-calorie food. Every single one of these is hijacking that old-school survival wiring, keeping us in a state of constant, low-grade stress. So what do? Are we just doomed to be anxious and unhappy? Absolutely not. The secret isn't to try and fight your brain. You'll lose every time. The secret is to build a new relationship with it, to learn to work with your wiring, not against it. This is the big mental shift you have to make. Instead of getting mad at yourself for feeling anxious or for craving junk food, you can learn to see those feelings for what they are. It's just your ancient survival machine trying to do its job. It's just getting the signals all mixed up in this crazy modern world. And that understanding, that's step one to getting some real freedom. So how do you actually do this? Okay, here's a super simple practical framework. 3 steps. First, when you feel that anxiety spike or that craving hit, just identify it. Tell yourself, oh, okay, that's just my survival wiring kicking in. Second, question it. Take a breath and ask, is this a real life or death threat, or is this just a work deadline? And finally, step 3, reframe. Instead of just reacting on instinct, you can look at the signal, understand it, and then consciously choose how you want to respond.
Look, your brain's default goal is simple: survival. That's its programming. But you, the conscious part of you, can have a different goal. You can choose to pursue things like meaning, connection, growth, and joy, not by fighting your brain, but by finally understanding how it works and learning to be its pilot, not its passenger. So the only question left is, now that you know what your brain's goal is, what are you going to make yours?